Hello, Zuko here, and it is time for an unhaul video finally. I've been building up these books since the last unhaul video, which was like a year ago, so it's time to get rid of some more stuff so that I can start accumulating more stuff I don't want. So let's get started. First, I have the Dead Is series by, who's it by? Marlene Perez. I think this was my last unhaul, but I decided I wanted to keep them and try and read them again, and I made it like 20 pages into the first book, and it was so much like teenage drama nonsense that I was like, yeah, I'm in my 20s and I don't want to read about like how so-and-so is the hottest boy in school and blah 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 blah. I don't care. I don't care about high school drama. It's not for me. Even if there are vampires involved, and I am a sucker for vampires. Nobody yell at me. The next book I have here is Looking for Alaska, and I am getting rid of this book because I bought the hardback 10th anniversary edition because I really enjoyed this book. It was really good, and I don't need this floppy paperback when I have a really pretty hardback edition. In the same thread, I have Paper Towns by John Green. I also ended up finding a hardback copy of this on Book Outlet, and it happened to be signed, so I have that, and I don't need this paperback edition of this book. So it's not that I didn't like it. I haven't even read this one. It's that I just found a nicer copy. Okay, listen, there's a trend. Then I have The Scorpion Shards, which is book 1 of the Star Shards Chronicles by Neal Shusterman. I replaced it with a hardback copy because I found it on Book Outlet. I don't really like paperbacks. If you're new here, I will read from paperbacks, but if I enjoy a book, I want it in hardcover, and if I can get hardcover for cheap, I'm gonna do that. I haven't read this either, by the way, so I don't actually know if I enjoy it, but I like Neal Shusterman, so I'm hoping. Then there is Everlost by Neal Shusterman. Also one that I have replaced with a hardback. I have read part of this, and I just think I'm gonna enjoy it. I hope. So yeah, I don't have much to say about this because I haven't read it, but I am replacing it with a hardback, or I already have. Next I have There Is No Dog by Meg Rossif. I tried to read this book and it was just really bad. I bought this on sale. It was like at the Bargain Books discount stuff at Chapters, which is like the book chain here, and it wasn't good. There was a reason that nobody wants this book. It's because it's bad. The premise is like, what if God was like a horny teenage boy? I think that's the whole premise, because I read like 50 pages and went, no, I can't do this. I would rather never read anything again than try to finish this book. Then I have Dead of Night, a zombie novel by Jonathan Mayberry. I have some other Jonathan Mayberry young adult zombie novels up at the top of my shelf there. I just didn't think that I was going to read this, and I think there's a sequel. And I didn't want to have to buy a sequel when I already have so many zombie novels that I bought when I was on a zombie kick that I have not read, so I am saying goodbye to this one, but I'm sure it's probably a good book, so I'm hoping that whoever picks it up enjoys it. Then I have the books that I already showed in like my least favorite books of 2017, all the really bad books. So there's Go Ask Alice, which I didn't enjoy because it was just such aggressive anti-drug propaganda that it was like kind of funny. Ruthless by Carolyn Lee Adams. And the premise of this book was like a young girl is kind of not very nice, so she deserved to be kidnapped and almost murdered as a way to teach her a lesson to be nicer. Which that doesn't sit well with me, so I don't want this book, and also I'll never read it again. It was really slow. Then there's The Kill Switch by Chris Lynch, which I hated this book. This book was just bad. If you want to hear me shit on this book some more, go watch the least favorite books of 2017 video. It's the last video I posted. I will link it up there or wherever the info button is on desktop, and you can go watch that video if you would like. And there is Extremities, Stories of Death, Murder, and Revenge by David Lubar. This book is marketed as like spooky, not for children books, but it was really bland and boring and I didn't like it. So I'm getting rid of it, and apparently you can also buy this at the Dollar Tree if you want to suffer for $1. I have Trash by Andy Mulligan, which I read this book and I didn't dislike this book, though it wasn't my like typical genre that I would read. It was an okay book. It's set in like a unnamed third world country and it's like a mystery novel kind of thing, and I'm just not keeping it because I don't want it anymore. I'm not going to reread it, so I'm like, I should give this to someone who might enjoy it more than I did. And I have The Artemis Fowl Files by Owen Colfer. I am replacing this with a hardback, so I didn't need this version anymore. Then I have Ruin and Rising by Leigh Bardugo. I have also replaced this with a hardback version, so I don't need this anymore. I haven't read this. I'm not just getting rid of it, because I know that everyone likes the Grisha trilogy, or at least the first 2 books in the Grisha trilogy, and I have all of it, so yeah, I'm not getting rid of this because I didn't like it. And I have Zeros by Chuck Wendig. Okay, I bought this year. If you've been around since my like start of BookTube, you've probably seen me haul this book. And then I realized I'm not gonna read it. I just bought it because, you know, apparently it's common when you first start BookTube to just kind of impulse buy everything because you wanna haul it and read everything and blah blah blah. That's what I did. I don't think I'm gonna read this, so I'm gonna pass it along to someone who hopefully will enjoy this better. I think this is a hacker novel, which, like, it sounds kind of interesting, but it's big, and I have other books that are big. I want to read more than this, so it's gotta go. Then I have the 100 box set, which has the 100 Day 21, and the 100 Homecoming, all by Kath Morgan. I read the first one. I did a review-ish kind of video on it, and I was also in the least favorite books of 2017 whatever video, so if you want to hear me shit on these books, kind of, you can go watch that. But I just didn't, these books weren't interesting, none of the characters were very good, so I'm not keeping them. Hopefully someone who likes this show and wants to read something that has nothing to do with the show will come and pick this up or something. Someone who might enjoy these more than I did. I also have, what are these? The Triel series by Amanda Hocking. These are like some magical, oh my gosh, I'm actually some princess from another world, and now the kingdoms are fighting or something, and I have to choose between two boys. I'm not interested in that. I think I bought these after Twilight. I'm never gonna read them, because that's not interesting to me as a 20-year-old person. It may have been interesting to me as a 12-year-old person, and that's fine. Hopefully another person who finds these interesting picks these up, because these are all going to the used bookstore. And lastly, which people might be mad at me for these ones, but, ugh, okay. Getting rid of Eragon. Oh, these are heavy. Eldest and a Brizinger, which, if you're mad at me already, that's fine. I tried to read this. I made it like 50 pages in or so. That's kind of like where I decide if I'm gonna keep going or not. I didn't like the writing. Like, I know he wrote it when he was like 16 or whatever, and it shows. It shows really, really aggressively. Like, I also wrote a book when I was 16. I wouldn't make anybody read that. At 16, I didn't want anyone to read it because I was like self-aware enough to be like, this isn't actually great, but I'm proud of myself for writing it, but I'm not gonna make anyone else read it. So I am not keeping Eragon. Maybe a little kid who has no concept of good writing will pick this up and be like, man, this is awesome, and I hope that they do, because I don't want any of these books to just rot in the used bookstore. I hope that other people can get joy out of them where I did not. Hello, it is me from the future, and for the sake of not leaving any book unhauled, I forgot that I had lent this book to my mom to lend to someone she worked with before I was gonna send it away, but I am also unhauling Casual Vacancy by J.K. Rowling, because I bought this when the book first came out and there was hype like, OMG, she wrote a book that's not Harry Potter, everyone has to buy it and support her because we all liked Harry Potter. Then I realized I'm never gonna read this book. I've also heard it wasn't very good, so I'm not gonna keep it. Like, I don't have time to read a book that I'm not interested in that is this long. I've already read short books that I'm not interested in that were very disappointing and I'm mad about, so yeah, just throwing this one in here too. So yeah, those are all the books in my unhaul. A disclaimer, I guess, just because I didn't like something doesn't mean that you are not allowed to like it or that you won't like it. You might, I don't know, I'm not you. I also don't have the money to send any of these to anyone, so don't ask, it's not happening. These are all going to the used bookstore. They may already be there now, as I am posting this, but they are not currently, clearly, because they're sitting beside me. And yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope that no one is mad at me for not liking books that they really liked, because that's like the joys of booktube, is we all have differing opinions, hopefully, except if you're like one of the big booktubers and like you're paid to promote a book, because then you hear everybody say the same nice things about it, and I'm not paid to do anything, especially if YouTube really does demonetize my channel for being so small. So yeah, I'll see you whenever I do my next video.